What is going on, guys? This is Skyhound, also known as Geek Archivist Pierce. I felt like covering this current rise in modern stupidity, otherwise known as projection by low IQ wannabe creators and what have you. These people who keep pushing fake diversity, equity, and inclusion, which, if you have not figured it out yet, I will spell it out for you. It is also death. DIE. Rearrange that. That is the murder of IPs, of creativity. And yet, I'm not surprised anymore. Frankly, most of us have likely turned away from these former IPs that we used to like, and I will eventually be doing a little series which is basically the how do I put this? Oh yes, the Parasite files. So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, parasitism by modern stupidity. If projection doesn't make any sense to you, I'll spell it out. These people have no education, have a low IQ, are told by these pedo teachers that you will always be a victim of, so-called white people, when in fact, it's not just whites anymore. Any liberal, regardless of ethnicity, and I say all ethnic groups, all liberals are lunatics. They keep pushing the whole men can be women and have periods and all that nonsense, when in fact, Darwinism has proven the opposite. But what am I getting at here with all of this? Well, recently, let me get to the correct screen here. This retarded loser started going off on a dumb rant and accusing Star Wars fans like myself, as well as Star Wars Theory, quick shout out to him, of not being fans because they said that, in their own words, if you don't like the Acolyte, then you are a racist. Well, guess what, you retarded, dumb, black moron? You told us, including me, that this wasn't for us. That you do not care that if we do not like it. To put in the modern lunatic's own words, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. Well, then how do you explain this? Quick shout out to Master of the TDS and Writing Raven, as I am about to bring up the whole bot scenario. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I said bots. Look at this. Look at all of these posts. That was captured by Master of the TDS. Quick shout out to him. This is his work by citing all of these responses. Look at the common denominators here. You have people who have never watched Star Wars, who don't know these characters, who don't know what the Force is, who don't even watch these IPs. And yet, it is because of losers like, give me 1 second, is because of these morons from the Acolyte who keep saying that, oh, we are all about diversity, when you focus only on the surface. There have been black characters in Star Wars, so stop kidding yourself. You retarded morons. Stop kidding yourself. You also have Lando Calrissian, who is a friend of Han Solo, who is also black. You keep complaining about female characters when you had Padme Amidala, her daughter, Princess Leia. You have the wife of Mara Jade, who is the wife of Luke Skywalker. Still not enough for you clowns because there's also female aliens who are both Jedi and Sith. And you still keep complaining about the surface. And yet you keep accusing us like me who are not fans. Well, let me do the math for you losers. Since you obviously suck at math, you suck at history, you suck at literature even. Basically, you suck at general education as a whole. And it proves myself, Star Wars Theory, quick shout out to him, as well as Master of the TDS, Writing Raven, World Class Bullshitters, Clownfish TV, via Kneon and Geeky Sparkles, quick shout out to those two, as well as Orange Hat Reviews. Quick shout out to him. I am listing all of these YouTubers who have their own channels, who have covered this, and you're saying that all of them, even me, are not fans. So, riddle me this, you retarded, narcissistic, dumb morons. How is it that in 1977, when you never had the internet or smartphones or the DVR, how is it around that time that when Star Wars came about, it eventually became super popular, that you eventually got The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? Then later on in the 90s to early 2000s, you had the prequel films. Long before Disney acquired it. Do the math. On top of that, I can list out to you the stuff that was around when you were never around to begin with. You had cassette tapes. You had the beginnings of the personal computer. You also had VHS. You also didn't have satellite back in the day. You had the TV antennas. You also had vinyl discs. All of this old tech, I can tell you right now, these morons never experienced because they were never born. Emphasis on the word born during those times. And I can prove that. Orange Hat can prove that. Hell, any of the YouTubers that I listed can prove that. But let me get straight to the point here. There is an article that I found by Bounding Into Comics. Quick shout out to them. Quick shout out to Spencer McCooley for covering this. Acolyte lead responds to critics with the so-called narcissist Juneteenth song, writing off unhappy Star Wars fans like myself and the others that I mentioned as quote-unquote silly racists. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but I will obviously point out the obvious. These losers who have narcissist personality disorder, which is an actual mental disorder, go ahead and look it up in your own time. They keep proving that these idiots who happen to be black assume they speak for all blacks. Well, looking at this, I'll just go up to one part of it. Steinberg takes issue with the evolution of the word woke. FYI, that means willfully overlook known evil. You want another term of me putting it? Willfully ignore known evils. And she keeps complaining about journalists when one, she does not know anything about English. I can tell that her grades in school are shit, but the teachers don't give a damn because they don't know how to do their damn job. So, if blacks are important, then riddle me this. This right here, Uncle Ben's, it was done by a black guy. Then retarded liberals destroyed it, made it into that. Here's another. Give me one moment. Here is another particular black brand, Aunt Jemima. I have tried that for some time. And then the eventual nonsense by the retarded Black Lives Matter movement, which of course never cared about blacks. You keep talking about blacks. Here was a black. She was successful. She had her own brand. People loved it, myself included. Then they changed it to this shit. Pearl Mining Company. Nothing to do with blacks. And yet you keep saying Black Lives Matter? Yeah, what a load of Bantha poodoo, by the way. So you can shove your virtue signaling nonsense up your own rear. Because one, you prove you have no credibility. Two, you don't know anything about Star Wars. You've never watched it. You don't give a damn. The only reason why you're screeching about it is because your ego is too fat. Emphasis on the word fat. Not only is your ego fat, but your brain is already mush. And you know what? Keep going with the copium because most of us can tell that you don't know anything about life, as I keep saying before. But on top of that, looking at you, Disney, as well as you, Lucasfilm, you think that we don't notice about your little bot situation? Well, riddle me this. Quick shout out again to Master of the TDS, who I'm giving credit to on this. You think we didn't notice about this? They all keep going on about the Acolyte. And on top of that, let me add another bit of context here, real quick. If you notice, there's a bit of a pattern with these complaints. So, what else do I have? Well, let me refresh your memory. If you recall, there was that meme, and frankly, modern Star Wars is the meme that keeps on giving. So, to mock, I will mock everybody on the Acolyte there. If you remember, they did the whole song, The Power of One, The Power of Two, and then our take on it. The Power of 14. Or, I'll put it this way, the power of one, the power of two, the power of apathy. Let me say it again. The power of one, the power of two, the power of apathy. If there is anything worse than closing the wallet, it is the apathy of us fans. Who, by the way, Disney and you retarded morons on the Acolyte, keep saying, you don't like it, don't watch it. Guess what? We're taking said advice. I'm not watching it. And I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, this guy's criticizing a show on Disney. That means he must have watched it. Riddle me this, you retarded nutheads. I know myself, I know my financial situation, and I have not paid Disney a cent, and have not even watched any of the episodes. I know some of the YouTubers that I've listed have, and then there are those that have not. I did not watch it. I did not pay Disney a cent, and I stopped after season 2 of The Mandalorian, right when Gina Carano was kicked off. So if you can't figure that out, that is on you, not me. And I know you're going to try and take it out of context. So riddle me this. If I'm not a fan, how is it that I understand about these shows and I understand aspects of Star Wars despite having not finished books or comics? And there are those who have read the comics and books more than me. Huh? Make it make sense. I dare you to make it make sense. Because everything I've said, number one, debunks your nonsense. Number two, you're just pulling stuff out of your ass to save your fragile ego. Furthermore, you clowns are so unhinged that you even have Wikipedia trying to threaten Star Wars Theory, who, by the way, happens to have one of the most prolific and well created YouTube channels on this platform. And he also has his own company. So you're telling me that a lifelong fan, such as Star Wars Theory, doesn't understand Star Wars. And you're threatening him with violence. How is that working out for you? By the way, I have watched the video that Star Wars Theory did upload with regards to Wikipedia, and you clowns keep killing the IP. Further, so looking at the clowns on Wikipedia, you psychopaths, you think you can actually try and get away with this? If Star Wars Theory does push for suing you guys, and I hope he does, you either shut up and apologize, or myself and others who actually happen to have receipts like this will use it against you. So, those are the cards you're being dealt. You think he's not going to go through with it? Go ahead. I triple dog dare you. No, I'll quadruple dog dare you to push. And frankly, I know Star Wars Theory is going to kick your ass. So, in summary, these clowns who keep pretending that we're not fans, I already cited such stuff. And if you think you can try and twist my words out of context, guess again, I'm just as good with using words than you. But on top of that, again, you guys assume that you speak for all blacks. Well, here's another context right here. You have a black guy sitting down among the ruins of the rioted city that he's at. And he has that one as well. You say Black Lives Matter, he's black. Does he matter to you? Oh, wait a second. Of course he doesn't. Because you liberals disregard independent blacks as well as conservative blacks. Because it doesn't fit your narrative. Considering that all you guys care about
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
Yeah. You think I don't notice this? I notice it, and so do the ones that I mentioned. Like I said, you either retract what you said or you're going to wish that you had kept your mouth shut. I don't care if you try to intimidate, it doesn't mean jack shit. Some of us have better evidence and can explain it and present it better than any of the retards on the Acolyte ever could. Plus, like I said, it speaks of the lack of education from these clowns. And they never had a life, never will, and they're never going to be important. So you can screech all you want, you will eventually fade into irrelativity. Because you don't matter. You never have, you never will. You want someone to blame? Blame the dumb mother that popped you out because you can no longer blame the father. But with that being said, this has just been my general take on the stupidity of the Acolyte, of Disney, and modern Star Wars. This has been Geek Archivist Pierce, also known as Skyhound, signing off. Stay safe, stay sane, and as Orange Hat always says, stay humble. Peace.